Previously on Yada Yada. The one team to watch, I would watch the Iowa Hawkeyes. They have a coach. He was the coach at Northwest Missouri State. Then he went D1 to Drake last year, won his conference championship, and he was a 12 seed last year and upset a 5 seed. And then he got hired at Iowa this year. And so the Iowa Hawkeyes are a team that I would bet if they're a 10 or they're an 11 or they're a 12, I'd be picking them over just about any team in the country. I tried to tell you. I did. Shout out to Hot Take Hayden. We have 15 people in our bracket group, and I just want to shout out Hot Take Hayden for being the only one besides me to pick the Iowa Hawkeyes over the Florida Gators. He listens, and he knows. He knows what I'm talking about, and apparently nobody else does. And so I just want to reiterate that I'm a genius, and I tried to tell you people about Ben McCollum and Bennett Sturts and the Iowa Hawkeyes because they are legit. And they are now Elite Eight bound. And by the time this podcast comes out, their season may be over, or they might be bound for the Final Four in Indianapolis.
Did you have them going to the Elite Eight and getting beat, or did you have them?
I had them in the Elite Eight and losing to Houston, which Houston lost last night to Illinois. And so if they can beat Illinois, I mean, Illinois is pretty good. You might not know this. Illinois has Peja Stojakovic's son on the team.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He comes off the bench, but he's still pretty good. So, yeah, the Iowa Hawkeyes beat the Florida Gators, the number 1 seed Gators. That was in the round of 32, second round. That's the one I told you guys, don't count them out. And then they beat Nebraska last night, which was a 4 seed. So still impressive. And so then they'll play Illinois tomorrow, Saturday, in the Elite Eight. So we have a chance. I don't know if this has ever happened, but there's a chance that we have an all Big Ten Final Four. All 4 teams could be from the Big Ten.
Wow.
So you've got Iowa, Purdue, Michigan State, and who was the other one? Michigan. So we could have 4 teams from the same conference in the Final Four. Will that happen? Probably not. I don't see all those teams winning, but if it does, that's pretty cool. So that's pretty impressive.
That is pretty crazy.
So yeah, shout out to the Iowa Hawkeyes and Coach Ben McCollum. It's just impressive to watch his team play. And he's a winner. That's all he does is win. He's like DJ Khaled. Current leaderboard for the Yada Yada podcast bracket challenge.
Yeah.
My father is number 1. Coach Poppy. That would be my dad.
Okay.
He is number 1. He's like 98.9% or something like that. And then the one and only, yours truly, is at number 3.
Nice.
I don't think I'll get any higher than that. I had Houston in the national championship, and they lost. And so my maximum amount of points has gone down dramatically since that event. Dirty Dan.
Tell me where old Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan is my co-host.
Right, is it out of 15, you say, or 12?
15, yeah. Okay. Dirty Dan is my co-host. That's Books. Right. And he is currently sitting at number 12. Tied for 12th.
Not last, baby.
Yeah. So I guess, tied for 12th because there's 3 people tied for dead last. And wouldn't you know it, sitting in that tied position for dead last is our one and only Hot Take Hayden. It's great that his name on the bracket is Hot Take Hayden, and he's just dead last. The hot takes are not working for Hot Take Hayden, other than Iowa. Iowa's winning, but he did have Houston as his national champion. And
who beat Houston? Remind me.
That was Illinois last night.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fighting Illini. Yeah, that's kind of the current leaderboard.
Who'd your dad have winning? Just out of
He
curiosity.
had Michigan State, I believe,
Michigan State.
but I
Okay.
can double check that real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he had Michigan State. A lot of Dukes in the chat, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they lose.
I'm one of them.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
but you picked McNeese,
Look,
and they lost first round.
first round. That deep run, that
Yeah,
did not happen.
back when I remember saying, like, you can't judge people's brackets because you don't know what's going to happen, and they're just picking random things. But I was definitely judging you. And the fact that McNeese lost, I couldn't wait to text you and say you're a moron for
Right.
picking McNeese.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, McNeese. Well, I see you're wearing a Rangers hat. We got any MLB
Yeah,
going on?
so the opening day of baseball has begun. Opening day was a couple of days ago on Wednesday. The Yankees and the Dodgers. I'm sorry, the Yankees and the Giants.
Mm.
It was on Netflix, which was interesting. It was a live streamed event on Netflix. You know, Netflix is trying to get into that game of streaming live events. They've done a couple of well, the big thing that they do is WWE. They're like the lone streamer of WWE now.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where it started, but they've done some boxing or MMA or UFC. I don't know. They all kind of run together, but they've done some of those kind of events, and now Paramount is kind of taking that over. So this was interesting. I'm they've got some lessons to learn about streaming sports. You can tell that they are not a sports streaming service. Um, Not because it was bad. It was just like we don't care about that. We don't want to see that. We don't like this is more important to us than this kind of thing. So, like for example, this year in MLB,
Mhm.
you can now challenge balls and strikes. Okay, so if a batter, a hitter, or a catcher,
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry, a batter and a hitter. If a
Yeah.
pitcher, a catcher, or a batter disagrees with a ball or a strike, they can challenge it. And it's kind of like the tennis, like when they hit the ball and it zooms into the tennis line. It's kind of like that. It's the ABS system. So anyway, the first ever challenge, the first ever ABS challenge in MLB history was missed because Netflix was interviewing one of the managers during that time. So an historical event that never
Right.
has happened in MLB history and is now kind of turning the page in MLB history. It was missed because they were doing a in-game interview with one of the managers. So not a big deal, but like you got to realize
But
what's going on. You got to have some
yeah,
situational
it's a
awareness.
bad look for
Yeah.
sure.
The score bug. So in every sporting event, they have obviously the scoreboard. Well, on TV, they kind of call it the score bug. Well, the
Yeah.
score bug has important information on it. For one, it has the score, which
Right.
thank goodness they had that. It has for baseball, it has like the runners that are on base. It has how many
Yeah.
outs there are. It has like how many balls and strikes there are in the current at bat, and
Mhm.
then it usually has the pitch count for how many pitches the pitcher has thrown.
Yeah.
Well, the pitch count on the score bug was like you had to get a magnifying glass to see it. It was so tiny. They're also
Right.
trying to. They had a couple of comedians. Drewski was on. Do you even know who Drewski is?
I do, but I don't know why he's famous. I guess he is a comedian.
He's some kind of skit, like he does skits on social media and YouTube and
Mhm.
things. Um,
Yeah.
and then another guy named Bart, who's also kind of the same way. He's like a you'd know him if you saw him. Anyway, they were just like random appearances by these famous people that like I don't think you understand what baseball fans watch the game for.
Right.
It's not the other
Like,
stuff.
you're not gonna get any new people by putting Drewski on your live stream.
Correct. Yeah. We don't wanna see Drewski while I watch baseball. Like I said, they'll learn from it. I don't know how many games are on Netflix this year, but opening day was. The Rangers played the next day. They are now 0-1. The
Well,
Philadelphia Phillies beat them, 5-3, so they're
starting off
0-1.
strong. There we
I
go.
do have the current World Series odds for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
bring it
So
on.
if you're going out of state, if you're leaving the state and you're going to Vegas or somewhere else and you'd like to place a bet, here are your best options.
Okay,
The Los Angeles Dodgers are plus 210. They are the number one betting favorite.
okay.
The Yankees are number two at plus 1,000. So the Dodgers are far and away the favorites
Yeah. Yeah,
to
okay.
three-peat because they've gone back to back. So they're
Mhm.
going for a three-peat this year. Um, the Mariners are third at plus 1,200. Then you got the Mets, the Phillies, the Red Sox, and then all the way down at 13, you got the
Oh,
Texas Rangers. So we're in the top 50%, baby.
there we
We
go.
we
So you're
have a
telling me
plus
there's a
25.
chance.
Yeah, you got a plus 2,500 betting odds there for the Texas Rangers to win the World Series. Dead last are the Nationals, the Washington Nationals. So I wouldn't be betting on them if I were you. We have a great stretch of sports happening right now, and I mentioned this in one of the previous podcasts. But this stretch, this month, really, it's going to be about 3 months, is a great stretch. You have NBA playoffs are going to start pretty soon, which I'll take.
Yeah,
Right, it wasn't one of my top three keep 'ems. It was one of yours, and it's probably a lot of people's. Um, you had opening day of baseball. You've got March Madness, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, the national championship. Right after that, right after that, you have the Masters golf tournament, and then you've got the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, and then this summer you've got the World Cup at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And so we have a great stretch of spring sports and summer sports about to happen in the professional realm. And I'm pretty excited because I'm a big sports guy.
it's true.
It's a
Gear
great
up
time to
for
be
it, baby.
alive. It's a great time to be a sports fan.
Although I'm sad a little bit about not being able to watch the Mavericks in the playoffs this year,
Yeah.
uh, I'm still
We've
excited
moved
for the
on.
playoffs.
It's
Yeah,
baseball season.
who
Go
needs it?
Rangers. Maybe we'll get a good draft pick. Maybe we'll get the number one draft pick again. Like
Right.
the
Yeah.
NBA still feels sorry for us, so we're gonna rig it one more time. See if they can't get another Duke player.
We'll see. But there are a few other non-sport current events going on over in the world of entertainment. Um, Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. Did you get a chance to take a
I did
gander?
finally watch it. You
All
sent
right.
it to me, and then the next day you sent me that article that said like it was a record-breaking number of people had watched it, and I told you
Mhm.
I wasn't one of those people.
Right.
I am now, and I am excited
Yeah.
now that I've
So
watched it.
those numbers, I feel like, because yeah, apparently there's like a record breaking, like this trailer has twice as many views as the number two place. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
just insane.
right.
I feel like that's a little skewed. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like they're because each year like there's more posts on a million different socials. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So I don't know how they're getting these numbers. Like the YouTube channel itself, like the legit Sony Marvel YouTube channel that posted it, it doesn't have near as many. It has like, a quarter of that. But
yeah.
uh
They
but who
probably
knows?
combine every social media
Yeah,
page,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
views that and people watch it more than once. I'll go watch it on
Yeah,
YouTube, and then I'll go watch it on Twitter, and then I'll go see it on Facebook, like,
right.
so, yeah, it
But
is
it,
probably a
it
little
does
skew.
it also doesn't feel like this brand new day. Like I mean, it doesn't feel like in the cultural zeitgeist, just walking around with people
Yeah,
that this trailer has been watched more than like in game or infinite. You know what
right.
I mean? Like
Yeah,
something crazy like that.
yeah.
So I don't know. The number does feel a little skewed. That being said, I had a great time with this trailer. I'm excited. I think this was in my top 4 of most anticipated projects, movies, or TV shows this year,
Yeah.
and I was pleased with the trailer, to be honest with you. It wasn't to the level of the Dune trailer because that's just up here by itself,
Mhm.
Dune 3. But, um I'm excited for what it's kind of promising for this new iteration of Spider-Man, you know? Like I said, Spider-Man 2 is my favorite superhero movie, not just Spider-Man, but superhero. And it looks like they're embracing some parts of Spider-Man 2 a little bit. It looks like he's kind of his powers are going away a little bit. There's a little bit of talk about metamorphosis and whatever that is and or rebirth. But yeah, and it looks like, I mean, he's finally just looks miserable the whole trailer, which that's my favorite Peter Parker is when he just is having a terrible life because it's hard to be Spider-Man, you know? It's the most relatable it gets that any superhero gets, I think, is Peter Parker, slash Spider-Man. So I'm excited. I thought the visuals were really cool. It's a new director than he had for his first trilogy. So his home trilogy, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, um, that all had the same director. And then this is going into a new guy.
Okay.
And
I did
yeah,
not know that.
yeah. So the director's changed, but yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I think he's finally getting out of that Iron Man Jr. and into fully fledged Spider-Man, you know,
Yeah. He's growing up.
not just Spider Boy, even though Tom Holland's like 30 at this point, but
True.
he still looks super young, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm excited. I didn't think I was gonna see as much of Zendaya as they put in the trailer. She's like I thought maybe once they erase the memories, they'd kind of move away from all that, but she's featured pretty heavily. So I have a
Yeah.
feeling that there might be some. I have a feeling she's going to find out in this next movie that again that he's already Spider Man, but we'll see. Who knows? Definitely Ned, but maybe MJ as well. But that was not the only trailer that dropped this past week. We also got a trailer for the new Harry Potter series on HBO Max, and I have mixed feelings about it
Uh-oh.
because here's my thing: the production value looks pretty great. It does look good. Have I was questionable on Nick Frost as Hagrid, and seeing him in the trailer. I'm just so used to Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, so it feels strange to me to see him and hear his voice. And he doesn't look like a giant to me in the trailer. He doesn't look as ginormous as I remember Robbie Coltrane looking in that first and second movie.
Mhm.
Um, but I I like the trailer. I do like
Okay.
the trailer. There's a lot of the same. I feel like they retread a lot of what we've seen in the movie.
Okay.
And I feel like the promise of this show was that, hey, we got 8 hours to tell this story now instead of 2. So we're gonna show you everything that you missed in the book. We're gonna adapt this as faithfully as possible. And I feel like the trailer could have done a better job of kind of giving you sneak peeks of those things that we didn't see in the movie that we saw in the book, because it kind of when I was watching it, it felt like I was listening to a remix, you know, like I was listening to a cover song, if you will. Like I'm seeing the same things, but they're a little different, you know,
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. Like I'm watching the
Yeah.
same stuff, just slightly different.
Is that
So
because is that because character choice? Is that because the way the filming looks? Is that the
yeah, I
story?
mean,
Like, what do
I
you
think
think? Why is it different?
I think just in general, like the production design, like even just taking it like a look at Hogwarts, like it showed it briefly in the trailer in the inside of
Mhm.
Hogwarts, like it looks like a lot of the same, just slightly different. And it gives me that I mean, and even the kid actors, you know, I mean, they look like the characters, you know,
Yeah.
that we all know from the books and now from the movies, you know.
Mhm.
And it gives it's just that big question mark of like, is this necessary? Because we're seeing a lot of the same stuff here.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
maybe that's more of a credit to the first and second movie, or to the first movie for adapting the book fairly accurately.
Yeah.
Um, but but yeah, I thought they could have done a little more with the just giving us sneak peeks of some stuff that we didn't see in the movie, like trying to differentiate it, you know, more so
Yeah.
than just the casting. I mean, obviously, Snape is not white anymore. Snape is black, which I don't have a huge problem with, other than the fact that, like in the book, I feel like Snape was described as the pastiest,
Right.
whitest guy ever.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I do like the actor that they cast. I've actually watched in college. I had to watch a production of him as Hamlet. So, as a big Shakespeare guy, I'm a fan of the actor. I just it just feels weird for Snape. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna give it all a chance. I'm rooting for it to succeed just because I like Harry Potter and
Right.
I want to go back to that world. It was slightly weird not hearing John Williams' music because it's just so iconic, the Harry Potter theme.
Mhm.
Um, and even the music that they put in the trailer, it was kind of going. I felt like it was going a little more for an epic feel than a whimsical feel, and I feel like those first 2 books are very whimsical, and the movies certainly were, and then it kinda gets more darker. The series gets darker over time, you know? Um, but I hope they make it whimsical. I hope they kinda recapture that magic that the first movie was able to capture back in the day, and that obviously the books have maintained. But I'm excited for the series, and it's HBO. You know, like I said a couple episodes ago, HBO stands for prestige. It stands for really great television, and they've earned my trust. So I'll definitely give it a chance, no matter what. So, and I mean the kid actors look pretty great. They didn't get a whole lot. I didn't see a whole lot of Hermione in the trailer, but the other ones look great. Draco looks like he should, um, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pumped up.
I mean, the fact that it's like you said, the fact that it's HBO, I think in itself excites me. I'm not
Yeah,
as big of a Harry Potter guy as you are. I'm not a Harry Potter hater or anything like that, but um, the fact that it's HBO just tells you it's gonna be good in some shape or form. It might not be Game of Thrones or True Detective or anything like that, but it's gonna be a good series strictly because it's HBO that's doing it. So
yeah,
it
I hope
says it's
so.
gonna release in Christmas this year,
Yes,
late
yeah,
2026.
this
It
Christmas.
it also says it's gonna go for 10 consecutive years.
10 consecutive years,
That's
and
impressive.
it is impressive.
If
And the
that
guy
if they can pull through with that.
I know, I hope they can, and I hope, the guy that they cast as Dumbledore, who the actor's name is escaping me for some reason, but he's a legend. He I hope he lasts, 'cause
Oh, is he pretty old?
he's in, like, his early to mid-80s right now, I think, so,
Okay.
um,
Um,
I hope he gets to play the character throughout the whole all the way to book whatever that is.
John Lithgow?
John Lithgow, yeah. He's great in everything that I've
Yeah,
seen him in, and
yeah.
it's funny too because I think he's the only member of, like, the cast that the adult cast that is not British, and he's playing
Oh,
Dumbledore. He's an American
okay,
playing Dumbledore. He's played Winston Churchill in, like, a movie before though, so or in
okay.
maybe in a TV show,
I can see that, yeah.
uh so he's got the pedigree, and I trust Lithgow, and he's got that kinda that Dumbledore twinkle in his eye, so I was very excited for the casting. He's just a real old guy, so I hope he's able to play the character for as long as long as the series goes. He's also Lord Farquaad, so it's gonna take me a second
Is he?
to
Okay,
not hear Lord Farquaad when he starts
okay.
talking because Lord
Yeah.
Farquaad's also his British accent. So
I can hear that now and picture it with his face now.
yeah, uh-huh.
Um, does it say in the book that the Weasleys are redheaded?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay,
I wanna
because
say.
I'm looking at the pictures of the actors that have been chosen for the series,
Yeah,
and it looks like which once again, if it specifies that, which I guess it specified that Snape was pasty and white, but I feel like they chose some that matches the book and matches the description of the characters, and then they chose some that don't, you know? Because the Weasley kid is very redheaded, and the Malfoy, Draco looks
yeah,
like
he's
Draco probably
yeah,
should, you
super
know?
blonde. Yeah, I mean, and even I mean, hair. I mean, they got. I think they got a lot of the casting from the book descriptions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
We'll
hey,
see.
if he fits the part, if the Snape actor fits the part, I mean, he's got. I'll say he's he's got a chance to win everybody over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in this
Yeah.
first season, if he makes you feel like Snape, then I guess that's what matters. Those
Yeah.
flashback sequences to the bullying are going to be a little more interesting,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah, he's I mean, I'm obviously like you, I want it to be good. I'm looking forward to it even though I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, but, I am looking forward to it. Any new HBO show, I'm always on board for. I'm gonna give it a shot. So,
Yeah, for sure.
um, speaking of Paradise, season 2, I mentioned in one of the episodes that there were 5 episodes in season 2. There is not. There is now 8.
Whoa.
So when I looked at the Hulu streaming, there was only 5 on there. There's now 8, and I'm assuming 8 is where it's gonna be cut off. But if you haven't tuned into Paradise, this is just a quick little shout out to that TV show because it is phenomenal. So you need to go watch Paradise on Hulu if you haven't already.
Paradise on Hulu. Well, I will give that a try. I got another T-Pain, former
Yeah.
guest star on the Yada Yada podcast. He also recommended Paradise, so
Well, there you go.
that's
Telling
2.
you.
I'll have to give it a
Yeah.
try.
Now that
Um,
T-Pain recommends it, you'll go watch it.
I guess, you know.
But now I've been talking about it for 4 months now, and, hey, T-Pain said too, I guess I'll go watch it now.
Now it's worth it.
Star Wars bros gotta stick together, I guess. Oh,
He's
man.
also, he likes Silo too, and you said it's kinda like Silo
It
a
is
little bit?
very much like Silo. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Um, I'm excited to watch it. Well,
yeah.
speaking of movies, not just trailers, I went to the movies recently. Still very expensive, in case you're wondering, in case you haven't been in a little bit.
I haven't.
Still quite pricey.
Yeah,
And I had a gift card, and I still spent money quite a bit.
nice. Of course.
But
America.
I yeah, America. But I did get to go see Project Hail Mary recently, and I think it's killing it at the box office. It's making quite a bit of money at the moment. But I gotta say, initial reactions, non-spoiler reactions, of course, since it just came out. It's only a
Mhm.
week old at the theater. I'll give all you guys a chance to see it. But this is probably the most uplifted I've felt walking out of a theater since Top Gun Maverick back in like 2022.
Okay.
So it's just one of those. It's I mean it's a sci-fi movie. It's got Ryan Gosling. He's very charming and all that. But it's just a life affirming movie. I feel like it's just one of those movies that it's about the good and the potential of humanity, the kind of the beauty and of science and nature and math a little bit, like how that can kind of be a bridge between cultures. And like I said, yeah, it's just one of those. It's a life affirming movie. It was a beautiful watch, and I really loved it. To be honest, it's not one of those. A lot of my favorite sci-fi movies, like Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival and Interstellar, um, even like something like 2001: A Space Odyssey, they ask the they ask big questions about humanity and about what that means to what it means to be a person, and they explore it through this sci-fi backdrop. Um, this one doesn't really ask those complex questions. Like, you're not going to leave the theater like thinking about it, I don't think, or
Okay.
or pondering about existence or something
Yeah.
existential like that. Like,
Like
it's not
Interstellar, kinda?
like Interstellar. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not gonna leave the theater like that, but you'll leave the theater with a smile on your face, and you'll be, at least in my case, I was very uplifted. I laughed a ton of times during this movie. I cried during this movie. People were applauding after it was over in the theater, which is always fun. Um, it was just one of those. It was a really good sci-fi. I described it as like popcorn sci-fi. It's not gonna make you, like I said, like Interstellar or Arrival. It's not gonna make you ask those big questions about existence, and you're not gonna be thinking about it for a long time. But but it's very entertaining, and it's very emotional and hilarious, and the performances are great, and the puppeteering with the creature that's in this movie is really cool. And I had a really good time. And you know what? It looks like a good formula for a movie that I'm gonna like is if you put Ryan Gosling in, if you mix Ryan Gosling with science fiction, uh, that just it makes a great movie apparently. Because Blade Runner 2049 is in my like top 5, and this one, this of any movie, not just sci-fi, and this one is probably in my top maybe in my top 5 sci-fi movies or top 10 sci-fi at least. So I had, I had a really great time with it. It was fun. I can't imagine it not being in my top 5 of 2026 by the time the year's over. I can't imagine 4 or I can't imagine
Whoa.
5 yeah, I can't imagine 5 more movies this year being better than that.
Okay.
Because that was just it was a great like I said, it's one of the best theater experiences I've had since Top Gun Maverick as far as, like, just feeling good walking out of the theater. You can bring the family to this movie. It's PG-13, and there are things, you know what I mean? But you can bring the family to this movie and have a great time. Ryan Gosling even said that he made it for his daughters, you know, his young kids, and so it's just it's great. It's about and he's a teacher. He's a science teacher that kinda has to save the world, so that's pretty cool. It was just a fun time. I had a great time with Project Hail Mary. So the directors are excuse me, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, Lord and Miller, who they're coming off the Spider-Verse movies. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated,
Ooh, okay, yeah.
which are great animated
Right.
movies. And they also before that, they were directing the 21 Jump Street movies with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. So
Well, that's a
you just combine all that, and there's
yeah.
greatness.
Combine it all and you get a Hail Mary.
That's right. That's right. But
So
I
top
had a good
5
time.
by the end of the year, you think?
I think so. I mean,
I'm gonna read you when we did our 2026 anticipatory list
yeah, this was not on my
was
list.
that's what I was about to say. Hail Mary wasn't on your list.
Mm-mm.
Um, The Odyssey is one.
Yeah.
This is my list, by the way.
Okay.
The Odyssey, Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man, Toy Story 5, Madden, Hunger Games. Like, maybe I need to I mean, I'm not gonna go to the theater and watch it because
Oh, you got to.
I
It's
don't have
worth
a
it.
loan to take out. I don't do debt, so, I'm not gonna take out a loan to go see that.
Well,
No, not really. I mean, I
if you can get
might.
a babysitter,
Yeah,
then
that's the big reason why we're
it's
not at the theater more than not right now.
right.
Wow, well, that's big props coming from our entertainment professional,
Yeah.
our entertainment expert,
It's
I guess.
it was a great movie. Definitely,
Yeah.
I would recommend you go see it in the theater for
Okay.
sure. All
All
you
right.
listeners out there, tell me what you think.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. The past week, if you are a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, you have not had a good time because the North Carolina Tar Heels have parted ways with their head coach, Hubert Davis. This is the men's basketball team, by the way, if you're not a sports person. If you tune in for entertainment and movies and TV shows, then listen to books. If you tune into sports, listen to me and books.
Right.
But yeah, North Carolina, it's been a rough go for head coach Hubert Davis. And they have very explicitly not used the word fired for their coach because of the respect that they have for him and the class that the university has. Technically, North Carolina has never fired a head coach. They've either resigned, they've retired, or they've gone a different direction. Or they I think what they used for Hubert Davis was a leadership change.
Ah,
They're going with a leadership change for the
right.
basketball program. Um,
Pinkies
and
up
I
firing. That's what that
yeah,
is.
right. Very classy, very respectful.
Yeah.
No love lost, I don't believe.
Creative
And
differences
and I
in the
understand
entertainment
why.
world.
I understand why. I don't I hate it for Hubert Davis. So a little about who Hubert Davis is. He is a Tar Heel if there was a Tar Heel. He played for Dean Smith, who is one of the greatest NCAA coaches ever. The gym is named after him, the North Carolina gym. It's called the Dean Dome. It's named after him. Um, he was an assistant under Roy Williams, who the court at the Dean Dome is named after. So he's been under the two greatest coaches in the university's history. He's played for one, and then he was an assistant coach for 9 years under Roy Williams. So you would have thought that he's going to come in and he's going to do a great job. And he did at times. The problem is he didn't do it on a consistent basis. So I'm going to read you. He was there 5 years. Okay. He got hired. Roy Williams retired in 2021, and Hubert Davis got hired right after that. Like, it was basically a Roy Williams told him, you need to hire this guy.
No. Okay. Gotcha. Was
So he
he
did.
already at, he was at North Carolina
Yes, he was an assistant
before? He was an
under
assistant. Okay.
under Roy Williams. From
Yep.
2012 to 2021, he was Roy Williams' assistant,
Gotcha.
who was the coach before Hubert Davis. So here's his resume as the North Carolina, or his finishing game as the North Carolina head coach. In 2022, his first year, he was an 8 seed in the tournament. That basically means you didn't have a great regular season, as we've talked about. But he kind of had an Iowa Hawkeye run. They went all the way to the national championship. They were up 15 on Kansas in the national championship. I was there. I drove to New Orleans to watch that national championship. They were up 15 at halftime, and they lost. So his first year, bad regular season, great March Madness run.
Right.
His next year, 2023, they're the preseason number 1. Everybody from that national championship team is coming back. They don't make the tournament. So that was a big, what in the world just happened?
Yeah.
And it would be uncharacteristic of me to not mention that also in 2022, they beat Duke on their home floor, which just so happened to be Coach K's last home game. So he beat Coach K last home game. They had a big production. A bunch of players were coming back for Coach K's last home game. It was basically like a retirement tour for Kobe and the greats, you know. But it was for Coach K, and a bunch of his former players came back. Last home game of the year, last regular season home game of the year against North Carolina, and North Carolina beats them. Oh, it was so awesome. Then I forgot to say also that in the Final Four that year, to get to the national championship to play Kansas, they beat Duke in the Final Four. Only time ever that North Carolina and Duke have matched up outside of the regular season. In the March Madness tournament, it's the only time they've ever matched up, and North Carolina beat them. Coach K's last game ever lost to North Carolina and Hubert Davis. That alone gets you at least 3 more years as the North Carolina head coach. But yeah, in 2023, they were the preseason number 1, and then they didn't make the tournament. In 2024, they had a pretty good, better than pretty good regular season. They were a 1 seed going into the tournament. So there you go. They're a top 4 team in the nation. They get upset by Alabama, who made it to the Final Four that year. So they lost in the Sweet 16 his third year. So first year, national championship. Second year, didn't make the tournament. Third year, Sweet 16. Last year, they had an awful, horrendous regular season, but they barely squeaked into the tournament, and they got into the first 4 games, and they lost round of 64. This year, as we all know, well, you might not know, but they were up 19 in the second half to VCU, and they lost. Now, a couple of things, okay? There's kind of his resume, I guess.
Okay.
He's obviously done a lot more and a lot less, you could say. Injuries to key players might have cost him his job. 2 examples that I'll give you. First, in 2022 in the national championship, their starting big man, best player, arguably, he's not, but arguably best big man in North Carolina history. Okay, you got Tyler Hansbrough, who's probably number 1. Probably not even probably. He is number 1. And then Armando Bacot, statistically, might be the second best big man North Carolina's ever had. And that's a big statement. All right. It's maybe a hot take, but it's also kind of true with the stats that he had. He had the most double doubles ever, points and rebounds ever for a North Carolina big man.
Wow.
Anyway, he gets hurt in the second half in the national championship. Okay. So they're up 15 at half, and he gets hurt in the second half, and they lose. Okay. Now, is that the reason they lost? Probably not. But if he's in the game, do they win? you have a better chance if you got your best player in the game for sure.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years, and you got this year, 2026, Caleb Wilson, lottery pick. Like he's going to be an NBA top 5 pick probably. Breaks his hand. Okay. They're 26-5, and then he breaks his hand. So they're having a pretty good year. They're ranked in the top 25, and then he loses his best player. And I don't care what anybody says, even if you're a really good team and you lose your best player, it changes the way that team plays, and it
Yeah.
changes the way that team is coached. It changes the way the other players play because you're so used to having this key piece, and now you don't have it. And so you have to
Especially in
adjust and you have to
basketball.
figure it out,
There's
especially
only 5 of you
basketball.
out there, yeah.
Exactly. And if it's the guy that like he basically won, they beat Duke this year. Okay. He basically won them the Duke game or kept them in the Duke game. The first half, he was literally like the only player that scored for North Carolina, maybe 2 or 3 other guys. Now, eventually, other guys stepped up and they made shots, but he was the one that kept them in the game. He has that caliber of player. Like I said, he's going to be a draft pick, a top 5 draft pick in the NBA. Okay. And so to lose him, even though you do have other great players, it's still different. It's still different. And so I think injuries really hurt. Some misfortune really hurt Hubert Davis's chances of being successful at North Carolina. Those 2 guys don't get hurt, and he might have one national championship in 5 years. He might. I don't think they would have won it this year by any means, but they would have got farther than the round of 64. And it's the way that he lost against VCU, I believe, that got him fired. The 2 biggest lead losses. One, national championship, they were up 15. That's the largest halftime comeback of any team in a national championship ever. The
Wow.
second one, they were up 19 in a first round game. That's the largest first round game comeback ever. So the 2 biggest comebacks in the national championship and the round of 64 both are against a North Carolina Hubert Davis coached team. That's not a good look when your name is North Carolina. When you're
Right.
a different team, maybe, but when you're a blue blood, when you're North Carolina, like it just doesn't cut it. Um, and so I hate it for Hubert Davis because he is a really good guy. He's very outspoken about his faith. He's a Tar Heel through and through. And I wanted. He's one of those guys that you want to root for just because he's a good guy. Like
Mhm.
he might not be the greatest coach. He definitely isn't the greatest coach, but he's just a good guy, and you want him to succeed because of who he is. So a little unfortunate there, but moving into the future, all right, real quick, I'm going to talk about who they might hire. Okay, and
Okay.
you've probably heard a few of these names. Um, the thing that I'm thinking is, and people have already said it, the next North Carolina basketball coach needs to retire as the North Carolina basketball coach. Like he needs to be here for the long haul. He needs to be very successful. He needs to get North Carolina back to where they were. Okay, before Hubert Davis. Not saying Hubert Davis didn't have them where they were. He did half the time at least, but not consistently enough.
Right.
So the next hire has to be an absolute grand slam hire. They have to hire somebody that is a legitimate name. It's not somebody who it's not a popularity hire. It's not a big name hire. It is somebody who they're doing their research. They know this guy has been successful where he's been, and he's going to be successful at North Carolina as well. You have to factor in NIL and the way the college game works now. So you can't just rely on a big name that has won a lot of games in the past because the game has changed. And so just because they won in the past doesn't mean they'll win now. Um, Now, here are some names that really interest me. Number 1, and this isn't going to be a shock. You can look at my background that I have right now, and that's the Iowa head coach, Ben McCollum.
Mhm.
I think if I am the North Carolina athletic director, which I'm obviously not, and he probably knows a lot more than I do, but if I'm him, I am calling Ben McCollum and I'm offering him whatever he wants. He give me a list of what you want, and I will call Michael Jordan. I will call Vince Carter. I will call all the donors in the North Carolina athletic department, and I will get exactly what you want. Tell me what it is you want, and I'll get it to you. Will that happen? Probably not. I don't think Ben McCollum's going to leave Iowa. I think he's an Iowa Big Ten guy. But that's my dream hire is Ben McCollum. 1B, Ben McCollum's 1A. 1B is the Texas Tech head coach, Grant McCasland.
Okay.
Once again, don't think he's going to leave. Tech can do the same exact thing that North Carolina can do. Tech probably has just as many donors as North Carolina nowadays. And so I don't think they can offer him more than Tech would offer him. And I think Grant McCasland is a Texas, Lubbock, West Texas, gritty, tough kind of coach. And that's just not really the way North Carolina is. The third one that I've heard a lot of people say, and supposedly he's going to listen, is Jay Wright. Jay Wright was the coach at Villanova, and he is currently retired. So I've heard that he's going to listen to some contract talks and maybe come out of retirement and maybe be the next coach at North Carolina. He was the coach, if you remember, back in I think it was 2016. Villanova hit a buzzer beater in the national championship against North Carolina. He was the coach of that Villanova team. Jalen Brunson was on that team.
Yeah.
Archidiakono guy was on that team. Chris Jenkins was on that team. So that was a really good team. Obviously, they won the national championship, but he was the head coach of that team. So all your Josh Hart was on that team. All your good NBA guards that people are like, oh yeah, he's from Villanova. Jay Wright was their coach. So I would definitely be on board with Jay Wright. The last one, and right now he's the odds-on favorite. How you determine odds-on favorite of the next coaching hire, I have no idea. But right now he's the odds-on favorite. And that's Billy Donovan, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Before the Bulls, he was on the Thunder.
Yeah.
Before the Thunder, he won back-to-back national championships with the Florida Gators.
Wow.
So he started
Okay,
in the college realm, moved his way up into the NBA, hasn't been super successful in the NBA, and apparently is very interested in listening to what North Carolina has to offer. But yeah, he won back-to-back national championships with those Florida teams. Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer. Those were the kind of the two guys that were on those Florida Gator teams. And so I would be okay with Billy Donovan as well. I think people like the Arizona head coach is a hot name. The Florida head coach, TJ Golden, who won the national championship last year, is a hot name. The Iowa State head coach is a hot name. But those are the four names that I'm wishing for. I'm hoping for that North Carolina reaches out to at least. I will say they did reach out to Brad Stevens.
Did they really?
Yeah, they asked Brad Stevens, and Brad Stevens was like, "No, I'm not doing that." Not out of like I don't want to go to North Carolina. He said he doesn't want to get back into the coaching stuff until his kids graduate high school. And so he has a daughter that's a junior in high school right now. So he's going to stick to the general manager role with the Celtics right now.
Okay,
He's
I was
got a
about to
pretty
say
good.
he was with the he was the head coach of the Celtics for a while, right?
He was the head coach of the Celtics. Now he's the general manager of the Celtics. But before that, he was the head coach at Butler.
Okay.
He was kind of the Ben McCollum of the late 2000 before 2010 because 2008 I believe or 2009 was when Butler was in the national championship against Duke, and Gordon Hayward was a player on that Butler team.
Okay.
And they had a shot at the buzzer and they lost to Duke in the national championship. Like the shot hit the front rim from half court. So Brad Stevens was kind of the Ben McCollum, the young up and coming. Nobody had really heard of him from a small college, that nobody would think of. So anyway, those are the four names that interest me. Hate it for Hubert Davis. Thank you for beating Coach K. I saw a tweet the other day, and it's so great that we still have these rivalries between colleges and stuff. But it said Hubert Davis basically came in, ended Coach K's career, and then bounced. Somebody was like, gotta respect it or something like that. So anyway, hopefully they hire one of those four names. If they hire somebody else, I mean, I don't know. I'm still going to be a North Carolina fan just because I like North Carolina, but the older I've gotten, the more I've started, and obviously I'm a basketball coach as well. And the older I've gotten, the more I've started to follow coaches
Yeah.
more than teams. You
Right.
know,
Right.
it's kind of like the NBA. It's just you follow players more than teams. Like I'm going to follow Luca wherever he goes. I followed LeBron for a long time. Like Kevin Durant has been a lot of places. I'm still following Kevin Durant. I mean, obviously I'm a Mavs fan. I'm going to be a North Carolina fan, but I like to watch other teams play strictly because of the coach that they have. Just like I'm a Mavs fan, but I like to watch other teams play strictly because they have a certain player on their team.
Right.
So anyway, hopefully one of those names is hired. North Carolina has parted ways. They've gone with the leadership change with their head coach, Hubert Davis.
Leadership change. Well, yeah, I hope they find somebody good.
Yeah.
Despite me picking Duke,
Yeah.
I'm not a UNC hater.
Yeah. Why hate North Carolina? Right?
Right.
It's the best blue. That baby blue. There's not a better
That
school
is
color out
nice.
there than that baby blue.
That's good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. That powder blue is pretty nice. But
All right, there you have it. A little bit of current events. What's going on around the entertainment and sports world? Go Iowa Hawkeyes, right? Go see Project
what's
Hail
their
Mary.
sign? They got a sign?
I know they're the hawk, so they got some kind of claw, probably. I don't
Woohoo!
know. Oh man, Caitlin Clark, Iowa Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah, that's
In
right.
case
I
you
forgot
forgot
about
about
that.
that,
Right.
go see Project Hail Mary. Go Iowa Hawkeyes. Watch Paradise. Watch some March Madness. We got a great sequence of sporting events coming up. Enjoy that time. Maybe we'll have an Easter episode next week.
There we go.
We'll see what we can do.